this past summer, Grace and I both had the opportunity to attend the Dave Kalter Memorial Youth DX Adventure. It was held at K3LR in Pennsylvania, so there wasn't as much travel, and we both had a really good time. And there were 3 of the 4 youth operators were actually YLs, so we thought that it would be a very fitting topic to talk about today. So a little bit about me before and I guess a little bit after doing this. I am very interested in CW. That's my favorite mode to operate. Before, I hadn't done a whole lot of contesting, so it kind of encouraged me to get more into it. And afterwards, I've been doing more and more contests. I was at the CQ160 at K3LR, and then the ARL DX at K8AZ in March. So it definitely encouraged me to get a little bit more active with contesting.
Yeah, a little bit about me. My favorite part of amateur radio is amateur radio satellites. I'm always on a satellite pass every day. I also do some microwave at 10 gigahertz, which is also exciting. And as Katie said, we were able to be at Tim's during the YDXA, and we learned about contesting. And the photo on the right is a photo of me when I was down in St. Lucia, J6, participating in a contest. So that experience taught me a good amount.
Yes, so for anybody who doesn't already know what it is, the Dave Kalter Memorial Youth DX Adventure is in memory of Dave Kalter. For the past couple of years, I think they started in 2010, they've taken a group of kids, so young operators, ages 12 through 17, to preferably a DX entity. So a lot of times they would go to Curacao or I think Puerto Rico. Yeah. So they would go somewhere, an island somewhere tropical, and have a special event station there in the summer so that the kids had the opportunity to be the DX, because getting those pileups is really fun. And this past year, due to some challenges, unforeseen challenges, we couldn't really make the Curacao trip happen, so we ended up Tim ended up hosting us at K3LR, and we ended up with the call sign Whiskey 3 Yankee. So the special event call really helped to identify us and get us some pileups. The whole experience was amazing. Obviously, a lot of us didn't have a whole bunch of contesting experience, so there were some challenges getting in there. We had to break some habits. Like, one of the things that Tim really focused on was getting rid of the no please copy. Like, that had to go. We got rid of that pretty quickly. I'll let Grace talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, or any other information. So I guess so we operated each 80 through 10, and we were on each band 1 hour, and then we switched, so one of us wasn't always stuck on 20 meters, and one of us was on a slower band, so we were switching. And after the hour, Tim would say, hey, let's try this instead. Let's just give the report, which was the serial number in that case. So it was more of a teaching us how that in real contesting we should just focus on the report.
Yeah, we operated in the Islands on the Air contest in late July, so that's where all of this is from. Obviously, if you look at the statistics on the left there, 80 was a little bit slow. So it was kind of like, oh, I have 80 meters next? Okay. But you can see 20 was really good. 10 was pretty good. 40 and 15 obviously as well. So overall, it was very successfI'm
Yeah, 10 was a blast because I don't know, for my home station in Michigan, I'm not working too many stations in New Zealand. And you get on 10, and I'm working 3. One after another as New Zealand's calling, and you're like, what? It just having the exposure and showing others that YLs are on the air, and everyone's wanting to call, everyone's wanting to talk, and just showing that in contesting that there are YLs operating.
Yeah. So after the YDXA, I know for me, I was very encouraged and inspired to start contesting more. So I ended up doing the NAQP CW and then the NAQP SSB. Those were both very big learning curves, but we figured it out. DX Engineering helped us get my school station up and running a little bit better than it had been. So I got to use that, which was very, very exciting, actually, get it on the air in a contest. And I'll let Grace talk a little bit.
Yeah, so I also did the NAQP. I did the sideband one, which was a challenge in the beginning to keep going. NAQP is a low power contest, so it was perfect for my station and who I was competing against. Just understanding how to strategize before and after was a big thing Tim focused on, is how do you effectively make contacts and how do you effectively make the contacts to then, yeah.
So we would also like to thank all of our sponsors for the YDXA. It's really an amazing opportunity because once you apply and are accepted, it doesn't cost you anything. They fund your travel and everything to get there. When the kids go to Curacao, all they have to do is get to, I think, Orlando or Miami maybe, and then everything from there on out is paid for. So it's very accessible. So obviously we had lots of sponsors, and most of those are sponsors that are very supportive of all endeavors for youth and amateur radio. So huge thank yous to all of them. And then we did want to talk a little bit about what you can do to help the youth contesting effort, because that's kind of where this all stemmed from.
Yeah, so one of the things we want to focus on is opening your shack. I know a lot of youth, we don't have access to a great shack, so opening and being encouraging. I know as YLs sometimes we struggle to get to know other people or get to know the OMs. So being opening your shack and even like inviting another YL over and showing them what you're doing and encouraging them in that. Also encourage the young hams you do know because encouragement is needed, especially in every part, just to keep going.
Yeah, I think the two most important ones on here are probably being an Elmer and encouraging. I think the one about being an Elmer for young hams is especially pertinent to any young ladies because you get into ham radio as a young female and you're like, oh, I don't see any other girls in this hobby. You can go to a club meeting and you'll be like, well, I'm the youngest one here and the only girl. Well, that's fun. So definitely be an Elmer. Reach out to any young female hams who you might know in your area. Elmer all hams, obviously, but especially young females, and maybe even try and get some interested. If you have a shack and have a girl who lives close to you who might be interested, help her out. Like, show her that ham radio exists and that there are women in it. And then also be open to the input from the young hams. One of the biggest things that I've sort of come across is sometimes I'll be chatting with an older ham and they'll have very solid opinions on how things should be, and they don't really want to change them. And I think that once we have input from young hams, we know what they need and what they need to be successful and enjoy the hobby. So be open to what they think what could benefit from a little bit of change.
And here are our emails if you have any questions for future. We're open to anything.
And I think we have a little bit of time. Does anybody have any questions about YDXA or young YLs in general? Yes. Okay, so her question was, how did you get involved in ham radio? For me, a lot of my family are amateur radio operators, so that was a very much a driving force. And then my school actually started an amateur radio club my 5th grade year, so that's primarily what encouraged me to get there, but my family definitely helped out with that.
Yeah, my family's a big thing for me. My dad encouraged me to get my license because my grandfather was celebrating 60 years of being an amateur radio operator. And I decided, hey, take the test. Well, here we are 3 years later. Amateur radio is like my life. So I couldn't believe it without it. To honor my grandfather was a start, and this is the future of what, yeah.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, I don't see any, so if you have any questions afterwards, definitely come find one or both of us. We are happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you, Katie. And we've been fortunate. Katie's been willing to speak other years here at Hamvention, and she's a treasure. We're going to keep her for a long time.